Hey everybody,
I'm Andrea.
and I'm Danny, and this is the Voice of the Meeple. We're going to be reviewing Gugong today by Tasty Minstrel Games. They did send us this copy of the game to review. So just some background on it. Gugong literally means Forbidden City in Chinese. So in this game, you are in the Ming Dynasty in the Forbidden City, trying to curry favor with the Emperor. And yeah, the kind of story behind it is apparently in the Ming Dynasty, giving a bribe was not allowed. So they found a way around that by exchanging gifts, but you'd give the official a really amazing gift, they'd give you back something crappy, and it was seen as an exchange, but really it was a bribe. So they take that as the kind of the core mechanic of the game.
Yeah.
You start out with this hand of cards. You start with 4 cards. Each one is a gift, and they have different numbers on them that kind of show how good the gift is. The higher the number, the better the gift. So in general, when you're going to be taking an action, on the board here, there are 7 different areas of the board that represent the 7 different officials that you're going to be bribing. And you're going to take one of your cards and put it down on the board and take the card from them. And in general, you have to play a higher number because you're giving the better gift. And so it's kind of like a worker placement game where you do the action associated with that official, but then you have that element of the numbers of the gifts as well. So it's kind of hand management meets worker placement.
Yeah, because you are doing the swap. So the card that you take from the board goes into your discard, and then that's your hand for the next round.
Yeah, so the gifts that you are taking, the crappy gifts that you're taking on that first round are going to be the gifts you have to give the next round.
Yeah, you have to think ahead like that.
Yeah. You want to go through each one of those officials?
Absolutely, okay. Sure. So there are 7 officials you can exchange gifts with in this game. You can go to this official in order to move your boat down the river and get some things that help you engine build. You can bribe the shady official in order to get a leg up on palace intrigue, basically just move up along this track. You can bribe unofficial to help renovate a section of the Great Wall. You can bribe the tax official in order to go around the country and collect taxes. Each of these is a benefit, like a worker or some victory points. You can bribe the market official in order to buy jade, which accrues to get victory points at the end of the game. You can bribe exchange gifts with the
decree official.
The decree official in order to get these decrees, which some give you just end game points and some give you advantages as you're playing the game, things to help you. And then, of course, you can't forget the center one. You can bribe somebody close to the emperor in order to have a chance to have an audience with the emperor himself. So you can move up along this track and get to the top. Yeah, those are the 7.
Yeah, that's the gist of the game. Is played over 4 rounds or days, and at the end of those 4 rounds, the person with the most victory points wins. Now, what we like and dislike about the game, right up front, we were a bit disappointed with this one overall.
That's true.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this. The theme really appealed to me. I did a study abroad in China, been to these places, been to the Great Wall, been to the Forbidden City. I love worker placement games.
Yeah.
So in general, I was really looking forward to this, and it just... it kind of fell flat for us. There were some things we definitely liked about it. We'll get to that. We'll start off with the reasons why we were disappointed with it. So the first one for me, I think the biggest one really is you have these 7 different actions that you're doing. Most of them are just not very interesting actions. They're just kind of boring. Take the central one, for example, where you're moving up this track to see the emperor. Literally all it is you just move up a track. There are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps you have to go, and nothing else happens except you move up a step, or you move up 2 steps. And then at the end, you get to see the emperor and you get some victory points. The Great Wall, renovating the Great Wall sounds really cool and exotic.
It had a lot of potential.
And the Great Wall is really cool.
But here's what it looks like. I will take the Great Wall action.
And then I do the Great Wall action. I put a worker or 2 out. And then once we get the number of workers on the Great Wall, these little cubes, then it's been renovated. We take our cubes back. Whoever had the most cubes on there takes theirs back and gets victory points and moves up this track. Nothing gets built.
It just goes back again.
Yeah, you're just putting cubes out and getting some victory points. The Jade action, you pay some workers and you get a jade.
Just points, yeah.
And there's victory points. It's all just kind of a bit boring, and kind of seems disjointed, and like it was just kind of thrown together. You think of other worker placement games, like I kept thinking of Champions of Midgard, probably my favorite worker placement game, and that was just so fun, taking the different actions, getting your different Viking dice that you're going to take, going and fighting.
It feels unified, like there's this common theme and sense of purpose in Midgard, and that does feel lacking.
Yeah.
I will say that for me, I don't mind. I don't mind if it's an abstract game. I'm okay if I'm not literally building the Great Wall. That's okay with me. What bothered me more was two things. It felt unnecessarily complicated. They just felt like there was too much going on, so it was difficult to learn. And the symbols on the board and on our player mats, unfortunately, weren't very helpful. So we felt there's no words. Everything is symbols, and they are not very clear. So we spent a lot of our first playthrough looking back at the rulebook and trying to translate what's going on, especially up here where it's, I don't know, there are 18 different symbols going on up here that we have to reference, and they really aren't all particularly clear. And the 7 different officials, it felt like they could have simplified that to make it more streamlined, more efficient, more clear. The other issue that I had is there's an element of luck that bothers me. And let me explain. So the numbers aren't just about having a higher number than the card below. It also matters because at the beginning of the day, you roll these dice. Right here.
I'll show you in case you don't know how to roll dice.
So Danny rolled a 1, an 8, and a 9.
And you put them up here.
So that means the cards that you get in your discard at the end, so the ones you trade for, if they match with a 1, an 8, or a 9, if you have the most matches, then you get victory points, and you move up here, and you get extra workers for the next round. It's important. You really need to line those up. But I don't know what next round's roll is going to be, so I can't plan a round ahead, and I'd really prefer that. I really like laying out a plan from the beginning and making it work. And if it's so important, I don't love that it's luck-based. So those are my complaints.
Yeah, and going into the symbols thing, your whole player board is just a bunch of symbols about the gameplay, and it just looks like a mess. Honestly, it's really hard to decipher. I think they were going for, not having to worry about the translations, but you end up just having to go to the rule book on pretty much all of it, because it's difficult to decipher. So, another thing that bothered me about it, there are a couple actions that are a little more interesting, like the decree and the boat, going and trading, because those have a little bit of an engine building element. Like one of the benefits you can get from trading with your boat is you can get another card into your hand, so you permanently have one more action you can do. The problem is it's only 4 rounds, and so the payoff just doesn't really seem to be there. With other games that are much more, a lot more rounds, you can engine build and it pays off. But here, even if you do something in the very first round, you only have 3 more rounds to take advantage of it. And if you do it in like the second or third round, then it's not even worth it at that point, because you're only going to have 1 more round. So it just seems a little too tight, a little too short, and I'm not sure why they limited it to just those 4 rounds.
Maybe for the length of play. I mean, this one was what, an hour and a half? Yeah, I'm not sure.
So things that we did like about it, though.
I like the look of the game. I think it's beautiful. I think they did a good job making it visually appealing, the different landscapes and places where you can go. You like the card mechanic, yeah? Yeah,
I mean, that central mechanic that we talked about of, you have these cards, it is a little bit of a puzzle, thinking through. You can play out a lower card than the card you're getting, so, in the vernacular of the game, giving a crappier gift than you're getting. You have to burn either workers or a card, so you get 1 less action that turn. So there are ways around it, and it's all just kind of a puzzle to figure out. So I do like that central mechanic. It is a little more interesting than just other worker placement games of just putting a worker out and taking that simple action.
Right.
So that is pretty cool.
There are lots of decisions in just that simple, which card should I play? I don't want to give a really nice gift and then have Danny snatch it up next turn, and I'm trying to line things up with those all-important dice. So it is challenging and interesting in that way,
yeah, it's just not enough to make up for just the disjointed and not super interesting actions themselves that you're taking.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, probably not one we'll really get to the table really much when we have so many other games that do something similar but better. So a bit of a disappointment, but I think if you are into more abstract games, then it might be something that, some of our complaints about it won't be something that really bugs you.
That's true, yeah.
And if you really like the hand management, that's something that really appeals to you. It is a cool mechanic, so.
It definitely is. If you've played it and you have some insights, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, but again, Gugong by Tasty Minstrel Games.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.